21 Final 2's, 24 if you count the offshoot seasons, and still no fire-making challenge at the final 3. One man can only dream.
Oh my god!
Ladies and gentlemen, internet, my name is Peridiam, and another Big Brother finale night rolls by, and by default, I'm feeling pumped, even though I'm not sure why. And so I figured I would reminisce over some of the finer moments in Big Brother history, moments that I have either appreciated a lot at the time, or grown to appreciate over the years. I'm a big fan of the final 2 instead of the final 3, how the jury basically gets to vote out the final player and crown a winner at the same time, and so let's appreciate it while we still can. With my 5th favorite final 2, you can say either I'm a sucker for a good story or I'm just a sucker, because number 5 is Dick and Danielle Donato from Big Brother 8. Despite America's Player getting its grubby little hands all over the gameplay that season, I can't deny that Big Brother 8 has perhaps the best told story start to finish of any season of Big Brother. It's almost too good, which is why I feel hesitant to put it this high or higher, despite knowing that I think a lot of fans would have this final 2 as one of their favorites. Evil Dick was loud and abrasive and spoke his mind, but on the flip side, he was shown to be a caring, loving, almost pained father who played alongside his daughter and wanted the best for her, even if it meant going beyond his best interest in the game. Danielle, too, was hot and cold, a dynamic player who won when she needed to, very clutch, but she was also really young, and that's a lot of pressure to put on someone on national television, and I think that aspect of her character goes underrated. And it was this familial tug of war that kept me invested in them as players. To see them turn on their alliance due to sniffing out a rat, then get turned on themselves from the same alliance and play from the bottom all season, only to clutch it out against all odds with a heavy dose of a scale being tipped, it's tough to deny that seeing them reach the final 2 was nothing if not this emotional zenith.
Knew he was lying.
After Danielle brought up Eric to me, everything clicked.
No, you don't want to go there.
No, I don't. Why not?
No, because it's going to shine a light on you that you don't want to cast.
The light's been shined on me, and I don't care,
Your own
okay?
actions. Do your own actions.
Hey.
Don't stand
So
up.
what? So what? I'm man, and I stand up and I say what I mean.
If you can't do it, it's okay. This summer was definitely a stepping stone, so I definitely see progress in a good way.
One step at a time, we're getting closer and closer and closer.
And all I can do is hope that things continue on those lines.
My 4th favorite final 2 is one I have come to enjoy upon rewatching the season again and again. At first glance, I was a little underwhelmed by it, but my number 4 favorite duo final 2 is Lisa Donahue and Danielle Reyes from Big Brother 3. As many of you know, I love Danielle and her cutthroat gameplay, and I was incredibly shocked to see her lose, let alone by so much, when I first watched this final 2 play out. But I think what I love about this duo and why I rank them so high is because of the student-teacher dynamic that picks up after a few weeks into the season. Out of necessity, the two women team up. Danielle brings Lisa under her wing and teaches her the ways of subtle manipulation. Lisa becomes the student, learning the dark arts on how to play Big Brother, and goes from a love-struck puppy with Eric to not even voting him back into the house. That is ice cold. The two women have a great relationship all the way until the end. They speak code in sign language to each other, and even though Danielle played an elite game, like the Sith in Star Wars obeying the rule of 2, it's always up to the apprentice to eventually overtake their master. Lisa was crowned the Princess of Darkness after all, and I am always game for a juicy narrative in unscripted television.
I feel like peace when she gets out of here and sees that I've never said a bad thing about her.
I am going to officially crown myself the Princess of Darkness in this house. Sign language has become, I think, mine and Danielle's secret weapon. Amy started telling a story, but without giving too much detail.
So who was that person? She goes, I'm not gonna say who that person is. And Lisa's going, R-O, and I went, I know it's R-O-D-D-Y. How you do the devil in sign language?
Which goes together with my number 3 favorite final 2. You're probably thinking, Well, Peridiam, if you like Danielle and Lisa, you better have Josh and Paul, right? Student master? Master-student dynamic? Hold up 1 minute, how dare you? Number 3 is Ian and Dan from Big Brother 14. And yeah, just as I said, this final 2 plays similar to Lisa and Danielle in that master-student dynamic, in that Dan was literally a coach, a leader in the house, and although he initially didn't work with Ian, after a few weeks the 2 players came together, formed the Quack Pack Alliance, and eventually Dan brought Ian in as a new renegade ride or die, although it was more in name than anything else. Ian was this newbie superfan who was up against Goliaths and the coaches, and these players that he looked up to and had watched for years, and he managed to outlast all of them. Meanwhile, Dan had the biggest target of anyone in that house and had to slice and dice his way to the end, consistently trying to cut Ian too, but missing every shot. That's kind of the beauty here with this final 2. Ian unknowingly dodged bullets Dan was firing all season, and in the end, when Dan had Ian dead to rights at the final 4, he saved his life. This second chance gave Ian that last push that he needed to take the win, and while I was more than happy to see Ian be crowned the winner, I can't say it didn't sting a little to see Dan lose. But that's what happens when you're rooting for both players in a final 2.
Hold on, let me just guess some. Quack Pack.
Nope.
Duck Squad.
No.
Duck Tail.
No.
Does it have anything to do with a duck?
No, but I do like the Quack Pack.
I kind of like that too. Ian reminds me of a younger version of myself. He's a little crazy, a little kooky, but he's very trustworthy. If I have the opportunity to run all the way to the end with this kid, I'm gonna do it. You love this place for everything it's worth. And you single-handedly made this experience for me.
On the flip side, it is much easier to feel good when the one player you're rooting for all season not only reaches the final 2, but wins. Enter stage left, Dr. Will and Nicole from Big Brother 2.
My name is Will. I live in Miami Beach.
What do you do?
I'm a doctor. And
what are you, Doogie Howser?
Obviously, it goes without saying Dr. Will is an icon of the show. His gameplay is so far removed from the average playstyle, especially what we see today. Literally begging to get nominated, laughing in the face of evil with an equally cheeky grin. You make a deal with the devil, you have to know what you're in for. Dr. Will is fantastic, but what's underreported about Will being so fantastic on Big Brother 2 is his relationship with Nicole and how the 2 of them play off each other all season. Will is this bratty little brother to Nicole, whom he annoys to great lengths. There are montages of her slow descent to madness with Will in the background.
Nicole and I have an Ike and Tina relationship. You know, sometimes things went bad, but then sometimes they wrote Proud Mary, you know, and they sung that and things went really well.
We started out on the utmost ridiculous amount of hate for each other.
You're not one of my best friends, but there's someone I hate much more than you, so...
And that's supposed to make me feel better?
No, not at all. Not at all.
After I stayed in the house and he realized that he has to give me some respect, he came crawling back on his knees to me, offered me to move into Chilltown, be with the cool, smart people.
Well, the fact of the matter is now I really like you and now we're friends, but am I using you to help me? Well, yeah, I am. You know what I mean? Like,
I have a lot of respect for Will, even though he is the evil doctor. He has been completely honest with me. I totally believe that. And he's got an awesome personality.
I hope Nicole trusts me. However, she shouldn't. If she does, she's stupid. I tried to evict her the first week, and I'm going to try to evict her some other point.
Nicole is one of the better players that season, and it's great to see arguably the 2 best players reach the final 2. And whether it was Nicole dragging Will there or the other way around, I'm not sure. They were both their own best bets, despite not always enjoying each other's company, but I love that about them. How Nicole used Will and vice versa, how the 2 of them really honored the game before the game had even found its form.
Nicole is very curious of some of my answers. I think the reason is because she knows the gig is up. She knows that I know that she's evil. So she, at this time, is very happy that she hasn't been discovered yet. But I think, you know, it's creeping out bit by bit, and people are going to watch the show and realize that she's the reason that every other house guest has been evicted. What it really is a very angry woman.
You know how pissed off I get. What are you thinking?
She has one eye that's a piercing eye. It's used mainly for finding dirty towels on the floor. Also, it's used to find kids who are having a good time and to yell at them.
But all right, enough yakking. Let's get to number 1. Let's get to the reason this list exists in the first place. My favorite final 2 in the history of Big Brother. Like I said with Will and Nicole, it's rare that you get the two best players of the season in the final two, but I don't think there is any question with that statement in relation to my number one. It's Jordan and Natalie from Big Brother 11.
The Big Brother game is just like a game of chess. Well, I just thought 3 moves in advance, and you just got duped.
No, okay, yeah, no, it's not. I'm sorry, I joked there. It is June and Allison from Big Brother 4. BB4, the season that coined the floating strategy and saw it implemented to perfection, has one of the most unique final twos we will ever see, and honestly, I don't think we're ever gonna see it happen again. Gosh, there is so much to say about these two, I don't even know where to go. They both entered the season working together to banish their ex-boyfriends, but soon drifted apart strategically. At one point, they both targeted each other, recognizing that they were the two best players and were each their biggest threat. But the beauty here is that despite this, despite them aiming their guns at each other for weeks and weeks, over halfway into the season, mostly by circumstance, they realized while they were each other's biggest threats, they were also each other's best chance to win. Imagine that. It's kind of like that meme of the two Spider-Mans pointing at each other. June and Allison became an unstoppable strategic force, playing the middle of the house like we had never seen before, and in some cases haven't ever seen since. These two women jumped between both sides of the house, all jury, swaying with the power, intentionally floating and birthing a strategy that has since been totally bastardized in its meaning.
Right now, Allison and I, although I hate to admit it, are playing pretty similar strategies minus the trying to seduce people with my body part.
June is floating. She likes to jump from side to side by week to week by HOH to HOH, and that's not cool because that's my trick.
They're two of the strongest women to ever play the game, both as players and personalities, and I wouldn't have that season end any other way.
Like coming in here, you knew you were going to be up here, didn't you?
What, in the finals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did too.
And those are my top 5 favorite final twos over the many years of this show. I can't say I usually get what I want with the final two, but sometimes I do, and I just want to remind myself of that right now. Or in the event that I might come to appreciate what we're getting in years to come. And that's the beauty of this unscripted beast of a game. You don't always get what you want, but when you do, it's something special. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and thank you to my Queen's Guard patrons for guarding these queens. Don't forget to leave your bitterness at the door, and I will see you in the next one. Once I totally vote bitter. Screw these two, they voted me out. They voted me out. Me, the best player in the history of this show. The best player of the season. How dare they? And scene. God, being a bitter juror is so tough.
What just went on in there? They didn't even congratulate you guys.
They hate us. They are not happy that we won. And I don't think they wanted to vote for either of us, in all honesty, and they had to. I think that a lot of them lost concentration in the game, during the game, and they don't realize that it was just a game, and the things that we did were because it was a game, not because that's the type of people we are outside of the house.
Can you blame them?